Welcome back to The American Dream. In season 2, one of the things that's so exciting about this is we're not just talking about businesses anymore. We're diving into the personal stories of the business owners, the personal aspect of growth, ambition, and really whatever this American Dream thing is that we all keep talking about is what I love about it.
And I think that's my favorite part. Being able to help host these segments, you get to find out who people really are. And I think having the shift now, being out here in the real world where it actually happens, you get to dive into people's story just a little bit more, see where their passion comes from, see what they do every single day. It makes sense. Why didn't we do this earlier?
It's a good question.
We do it in the spirit of going against the grain of the negative media, giving inspiring information, and having people walk away from our show with something of value.
You're seeing a disruption in both the real estate and the mortgage space.
A lot of people are just not willing to put in the work.
What video does is that it demands an emotional response.
You know what I love about the show? It's totally unscripted. One of the things about a company like ours is, as we're showcasing the American Dream, we're also learning about the company itself, right?
Absolutely.
So I think listening and learning is what really makes entrepreneurship and companies better.
Yeah. And then it catches like wildfire. So who knows who they're going to inspire next. And it's just, that's what entrepreneurship is all about.
Absolutely. Being in 23 cities with New York City right now is such a huge accomplishment. And we're going to film today's show at Bootlegger is great because Errol, the founder himself, actually came from very small beginnings and became something really impressive. I cannot wait to meet him.
Yeah, well, I'm excited. Let's go meet him.
All right, let's do it.
Hi there.
So nice to meet you.
Absolutely.
Oh, congratulations, brother.
Thank you so much, and welcome to Bootlegger.
Thank you. I mean, we just talked a little on the way here, but congratulations on your success.
Thank you so much. Well, I wish I could take it all, but we have a great team here, so.
Tell us about this establishment. Like, what was the idea? You call it Bootlegger, you had it on this corner. I mean, what was the concept?
Well, the great thing about Bootlegger, it's just a culmination of a lot of things.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you knew this, but there was 2 other businesses, bar restaurants that were here prior to us, but we just hit it really well. My partners, all coming from the bar industry, really wanted to do our own thing, and we just happened upon this and really brought something special to this corner of the neighborhood, and we're just been excited to have it.
Very excited about today's power interview coming from the Robbins family, a name that everybody knows. Jairek Robbins with Jairek Robbins Companies is a performance coach. Going to talk to you a little bit about his story, but also empowering your American dream. Jairek, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. Nice to see you all.
Yeah, you got a hell of a story. So you had less than a week left to live while you were doing charity work. Real quick, tell us that story.
So I was working teaching organic farming in a village over in Uganda, and I got malaria twice. There was no running water, no toilets, no electricity, just rural farming village. And we were teaching them how to retill the land that had been poisoned by some illegal pesticides that were sold to the local farmers there. And so in the work, malaria was rampant. And so I got malaria. And I remember sitting down at 20 years old thinking, A, that was not the plan. That was never what we wanted to accomplish. And then B, the concept of what am I going to do? Like, I can't get home to see my family. My bucket list seemed to now fade away because how am I going to buy a house, start a business, finish school, and do all the things I wanted to do? And then what it really came down to, if I was going to have any chance at having some type of dream life in that moment, I had to redesign what my daily life was going to look like for these next 6 days to figure out how to make it a life that I lived fully, I loved deeply, and hopefully I did something that mattered far beyond my physical presence here on this planet. And so that became the goal. I called it, designing my ideal day, which was how would you design the type of day where if you died at the end of that day, you would high-five yourself on the way out and feel damn proud that you did it.
Well, pretty incredible story. What I love about what you're doing now is, we see online there's a lot of coaches and life coaches. You're niched in a unique way where you're a performance coach. So you work with entrepreneurs, business owners who already have their act together, but you're actually enhancing their performance. Explain what that means to you.
So it's really simple. We look at people who, like you said, they have their act together, they're doing good, but deep down inside, they know they could be doing better. And so we look at them, and we look at them from a human standpoint and say, how's your sleep? You know, the sweet spot for sleep is 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep per night. If you're getting less than 5 after 2 days, you're considered cognitively the equivalent of being drunk in the way you psychologically make decisions and perform. So
Wow.
7.5 to 8 hours of sleep. And is it high quality sleep? Are you getting high REM sleep, which allows your glial cells to cleanse your brain and get the neurotoxins out? Are you getting deep sleep, which replenishes your body and makes you stronger and more capable and replenishes you for the next day? So we use a meditation device. It's a medical grade EEG scan of their brain every morning. I have a dashboard that I can see how well they're able to calm and clear their brainwaves every morning. So we know that they're able to stay aware of the chaos, yet totally focused on the task at hand. And if you can't do it for 10 minutes in the morning, I guarantee you can't do it throughout the day.
So what's,
that kind of
what's
stuff.
fascinating about this, Jairek, is you're not just speaking on stage and giving rah-rah around, you need to eat right, be healthy. You're actually measuring these things, and like a athlete, you're measuring performance and looking at the analytical things on this.
Exactly. We're tracking the data, and we're looking at metrics, and we're looking for what's real. My thought is I consider every one of our clients or people we work with as a performance athlete, just like an Olympic athlete. If you were to show up at Olympic training camp, the first thing we need to figure out is how fast can you actually run if running is your sport.
Sure.
So we put you on the track and we measure you. We figure out what your sleep looks like, nutrition, mindfulness. The one I didn't get to, which is interesting, is even your breath pattern all day. There's a little device that goes on your belt, tracks your breathing pattern, and it tells us when you're calm, when you're focused, and when you're tense. Now, people like to take pride. I've had entrepreneurs and investors and hedge fund managers go, oh, I'd probably break the thing. I'm so stressed. But here's what's wild. If you think of the 3 worst business decisions you've ever made and how much money you've lost, I guarantee it was from a place of being stressed and not calm or focused. And if I could prevent you from losing that amount of money just by helping you notice you're stressed and getting you to breathe and get back to focus, boom. It's amazing what it does for people.
Jairek, thanks so much for coming on the show. You got an incredible journey. I know the best is still to come with you. Thank you for sharing it on our show here today. We'll have you on again soon. Appreciate it, man.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. What better illustration of the American dream than Jairek Robbins? What a great story. All right, more of the show coming up next.
Wow, they're killing it in the market. Speaking of killing it, how you doing here?
Bootlegger's crushing it.
All right?
Yeah.
So I've been staring at this bell all day. What's up with the bell?
So funny story is when we first opened, as you can tell, there's a fire truck going here almost every 5 minutes. We wanted to do something with that. And at the same time, this new spirit came on board, called Fireball. I'm sure you've heard of it.
I love Fireball.
Yeah. So every time the fire truck comes around, we do this. $4 shots of Fireball, and the place goes nuts.
Made a major impact on my family, my community, my life. Feed America First is wonderful.
Hi, my name is Monte Mohr. I'm a real estate broker here locally, but we're not here today to talk about real estate. Instead, I want to talk about an amazing organization that absolutely touched my heart several years ago called Feed America First. And I'm with the executive director here, Tom Henry. Tom, tell us a little bit about the organization, what you're doing.
Well, we started Feed America First with the intention of taking the overproduction of food in the U.S. and getting it to families in need. We started distributing food to local agencies in small towns. We believe that the key to small towns is community. And if we can help put more food in that community, there's already people there that are trying to help their neighbors. And we want to bless them and empower them with God's abundance. So we are impacting about 35,000 families a month within about 150 miles of Nashville. A loaf of bread, when you're in need, that's delivered by a neighbor with love can move mountains.
Tom, I was blown away when I heard the statistic on how much food ends up in landfills in this country while people go hungry.
40% of the food produced in the United States ends up in a landfill. That's an appalling number. And that's the role of Feed America First, to put our trucks between the manufacturers and distributors and those families that need that help. We give them the food, they know who their neighbors are, and they can get it exactly to the person in need the most.
So what's going on here today with all this
Well, this is our Murfreesboro distribution. We have 40 agencies that come to Murfreesboro once a month to pick up food. Today's that day. These agencies represent about 4,000 to 5,000 families that are going to get fed with this food today.
2 or 3 weeks ago, we got watermelons, and if you could have seen my friends' faces when I brought those watermelons around, he cried and said he had not had a fresh watermelon to himself, and he couldn't remember how long it had been.
My name is Richard Ryden. I'm the Director of Operations. And we have a very large warehouse here, but the food doesn't stay here very long. We fill it up pretty quick, and we move it right out just about as quick. We're getting different places. I mean, there's some from Pepsi. We get a lot of drinks, quite a few. Miracle. There's Convoy of Hope, Feed the Children. Associated Wholesale Grocers. We get a lot from Walmart. When we need to go, we go.
I don't want to misquote you, but what percentage do you use to pay your bills, and what percentage goes to the field?
Our historical average is about 94% of everything we take in actually ends up in the program. But we've been very, very efficient with every dollar that we've been donating.
So Tom, what can viewers do to help this organization?
Well, there's 3 things that we need. We need volunteers. We have organized volunteer events every month. We need money, and we're good with money. We get a lot out of it. 10 to 15 meals for each dollar, 1,000 to 1,500 meals per $100. And then we need food sources. So and we find most of our food sources come because somebody works at a company that throws stuff away, and we want to provide them a better opportunity to do something impactful in the community with it.
Without Feed America First Ministries doing what they do, I could not do what I do. And I just want to make sure that they're safe and not hungry. And that's what Feed America First allows me to do.
Thank you, Molly.
Well, Errol, that was an awesome segment.
Yeah, that was.
But you know what's even more awesome?
What's that?
Tom Cruise and cocktail.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I got a little Tom Cruise in me.
Well, let's see what you got, Tom.
Okay.
Oh, that was actually awesome.
One of the amazing things about the American Dream Show is we have an opportunity to showcase business entrepreneurs and not just talk about their companies and why they're successful. We talk about the ingredients that went into their success, kind of their storylines. And before we kick to this segment, you showed me how to make your signature drink, right, which is
the Broken Butterfly.
The Broken Butterfly. And I thought it was so appropriate because a drink like this takes a lot of simple ingredients to make an amazing thing, just like a company or a great story. So I'm gonna try to recreate this drink right now, while Errol tells us how he went from barback to tech entrepreneur in 10 years.
Yeah. Started off as a barback way back in Maryland before I moved out here, and I used working in the industry just to get me from A to B, pay my way through college.
Yep.
Through all that, I really learned what I really enjoyed in life. I mean, I did try different things. I graduated in finance, worked in the finance world, even little my hand in the real estate. I worked as an LO for a couple years, in 02 to 07. But through those different changes, through the markets and everything like that, I always came back here.
Yeah.
And fast forward to about 2009, when even though the market was not as great as it should be, the hospitality industry was thriving.
Sure.
So a lot of downtown venues that you'd see, I actually had my hand in helping open. So my first sidebar was one of the smaller clubs, and then Stingaree was a larger one.
Yeah.
And so that story kind of followed me a long way through it, just all the connections and contacts, and kind of how we started Bootlegger through all my friends that worked in the industry. But through all that, I noticed one thing that was always a consistent problem. I was getting about, at the time, 20 to 30 phone calls, emails, texts a day from friends, even fellow business owners in the industry, to finding a job. I never saw anything for
I'm
a
going for the booze right now.
Go
Is
ahead.
that okay?
Yeah, go
Keep
in right
going.
there. You're doing great, by the way.
Yeah.
This is the longest drink ever, but we love it.
I'm listening and making. Could you imagine if you were a bar patron?
Yeah.
You would walk right out the door.
Well, this is what we do every day.
Yes, much faster.
Yeah, exactly.
So talk me through it.
Yeah, so in about 2014, I was opening up a nightclub called 80 Nightclub, which is no longer there, which is the ups and downs of all businesses.
Sure, yeah. Failure is important in success,
God,
right?
Yeah, I learned a lot. We had about 1,000 applicants come in, and my partners and I at the time, it took us forever just to find our core people.
Sure.
And so with that, we were trying to dialing in the sketch of what industry was going to be, and that's where I found my business partners.
I'm stoked.
Yeah. So let's get this drink
So
going.
this is moment of truth.
Yes.
Do I flip this over?
You're flipping it over.
Okay, I'm flipping it over.
And this is where you get to be Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise? Yeah, exactly. Do I look like Tom Cruise?
100%.
You know, here's the thing. I don't look like Tom Cruise, but I am taller. And I think about that when I compare myself to Tom Cruise.
I'll be
At least
honest.
I'm taller.
One of the reasons why I wanted a bartender is cocktail.
It's cocktail, of course. Yeah.
Okay, so.
But see, I didn't want to be at TGI Fridays in Manhattan. I wanted to be down in Bermuda.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, meeting girls wearing like flowy white stuff, you know, on vacay.
Yeah.
So what do I do? Okay, so
That's
I
a
grab
strainer.
this.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then pour it.
Yep, strain it out.
So will you try this and tell me if I did it right?
Okay, well. That's definitely something else. But it looks pretty. It's the right color.
Oh, that's such a bartendery thing.
Oh, yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah.
I want to do the bartendery thing.
Yeah, see,
All right.
that's tasting it. So you're not putting your thing in there. That's how you taste
That's
it.
not that bad.
No, great
That's
job.
not that bad. Thank you.
go.
And one of the cool things about the American Dream is everybody has their own interpretations of it. While we're at your bar, you have all these great patrons here. I thought it'd be fun. Why don't we ask these patrons what their version of the American Dream is?
Hi, guys.
Hey, how you doing? All right. So, you volunteered. What's your version of the American Dream?
I think my version of the American Dream is being able to pick your passion and being able to follow it until you make something that you've created in your head for so long come to fruition.
What's your interpretation of the American Dream?
You know, I believe if you have a dream, you go for it, you achieve it, and you kind of put it out there. You gotta put yourself out there. That's pretty much it.
Live and laugh with friends and people that you meet each and every day.
Being able to start from nothing and make something out of it, right? You're not stuck in any kind of box.
To laugh as much as you want.
Profound. Cheers. Thank you all so much for being involved.
So there you have it. Those are so many different versions of the American Dream. Right now, we're going to showcase one of the best brokers in your market. Check it out.
I want to welcome back onto the American Dream Jay Nelson. He's a top realtor and team leader of Jay Nelson Real Estate Team with eXp Realty. And his special guest today, he's an entrepreneur, an angel investor, and a mentor. I want to welcome onto the American Dream Shawn Thomas of Ask a Millionaire. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Good to be here. Good to be here. Thanks, Jen. We're excited. I'm excited to introduce everybody to my good friend, my client, he's my mentor also, Mr. Shawn Thomas. I'm just excited about what he's doing, Jen, to help entrepreneurs all over the world, really. You got a following of 1.2 million people on Instagram because Shawn, you know, I'll let him tell his story, but man, this guy is helping lots of people, Jen.
Well, I know, Jay, that you said he has a giving heart and he would actually give the shirt right off of his back. So it's really a pleasure for us, Shawn, to have you on the program today. And I want to talk to you about Ask a Millionaire. What is it that you're doing? Who are you helping?
Basically, Ask a Millionaire is a mentorship platform that I started back in 2015 on Instagram called Ask a Millionaire. I wanted to basically transcend my story of being that quintessential lost entrepreneur when you're first starting out and you don't come from a family of entrepreneurs. So you're just seeking out guidance all over the place, whether it's the internet, you know, local meetups and so forth. And you're just trying to find people that are trustworthy and people that are real and have your best interest at heart. So like a lot of those lost young entrepreneurs of the world, I went through what I call a decade of disaster, which was basically trying every get-rich-quick scheme, losing money to scam artists, people that were preying on my naivety.
Yeah.
And I committed myself after I started my company and sold it back in 2013 that I wanted to pay it forward and share my experiences and help those young entrepreneurs to start their companies and make the best decisions possible. And what I have found in the process is, you know, helping somebody else accomplish their goal of possibly just being a millionaire, which has happened in the last few years, it actually feels better to me as a person and entrepreneur than when I made my own millions. And so I get just as much out of it as the people that I mentor.
Sure. So what do you see people struggling with the most? What are the most common questions that you're getting asked on your Instagram account and elsewhere?
The number one question by far is always a control of fear. People fearing the unknown. After about 2 years of doing live streams on both Periscope and Instagram, the number one issue that people were dealing with was how to overcome fear, because people were afraid of what an outcome would be that they didn't know what was going to happen. And they had parents and teachers and coaches who were not entrepreneurs basically trying to protect them from failure. So they would always say, we always have those people in our life, they say, oh, be careful, make sure you watch yourself. So it basically instills fear in us.
Yeah.
And after going through that, I wrote a book called The Power of Naivety, which naivety takes us all the way back to our childhood of realizing that we don't know what the outcome of something is going to be, but we don't care. We just go try. And it's better to have tried and failed than to not try at all, right? So, you know, that's the number one overlying factor that I see with people all over the world, because my audience is not just in America, it's all over the world. They're just consumed by fear.
You know, and Shawn, Shawn and I have a common thread. I mean, obviously, we just hit it off the very first time. I actually remember the day I met you over at that, it was right off of Belmead Country Club. I remember that day. But you know, it's like, we want to empower people to take a chance and to drive and not let that fear hold them back. And that's why I just think, like, following somebody for the audience, for the American Dream, following a guy, 1.2 million followers, people are loving what he's doing because he cares about people. And that's why I wanted to bring him on here, Jen.
Well, thank you so much for doing so. And you don't get 1.2 million followers for speaking nonsense. People are getting valuable information from the content that you're sharing, and I'm sure you're going to continue to do so. I want to mention you are the original live stream mentor, and we really appreciate you being on the show today, Shawn. Thank you so much for bringing them on, Jay.
Well, that was a really inspiring show. I think one of the cool things about this new season is the American Dream is going out in the field, and we're checking out business owners as they're doing some unbelievable things. Bootlegger here in California was a great place to have this show hosted. Tawny, what was your favorite part?
My favorite part was honestly meeting Errol. I've been here so many times and just have no idea about the history behind it. It's just been coming and having great drinks and food, but to be able to know where he came from, and he never stopped, and he's still growing.
Yeah. And the drink?
And the drink and the broken butterfly is amazing. So yeah, I'm excited for it all.
Yeah, that's the fun part about this business, right? Is you have alcohol. I don't think you can do that in real estate.
Without it, where would you be?
A cause of and solution to all problems. Maybe not in business, but thank you everybody for tuning in. Tawny and I had a great time at Bootlegger here in California. Thank you to Errol, and catch you next episode.